There's something about desert highways at night that just feels wrong. Like the road itself is watching you, silent, empty, and waiting. Welcome to my viewers, especially those who love the darker side of the open road. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Tonight's story is one I've told more times than I can count, but no matter how many times I say it, I still get chills. I've been a trucker for close to 15 years now, and what happened to me back in 2017 changed how I view night drives forever. I was on an overnight haul through the Mojave Desert in California, headed to a drop in Arizona. I think it was appliances I was delivering. Honestly, I don't remember for sure. All I remember is the pitch black silence of the desert, stretching in every direction. My semi's headlights were dim, real dim, and I'd been putting off fixing them for weeks. Normally I didn't notice, but out there, where no one else was on the road, it was painfully obvious. I had to squint just to make out the road ahead. That alone felt like a horror story waiting to happen. I thought about pulling over and waiting for sunrise, but I needed the money back, so I kept going, figuring a straight road was safe enough. It must have been about an hour before sunrise when I saw something in the distance, something approaching fast. I panicked, thinking it might be an animal, and slammed the brakes. My truck screeched to a stop, just a foot away from a car parked dead center on the double yellow lines. Its hazard lights were blinking, and the passenger door was hanging wide open. It was the weirdest thing. Still, I didn't feel scared, just confused. I've been through my fair share of bad bar fights. I'm not easily shaken. I figured maybe someone needed help, so I reversed, pulled over, and stepped out. I thought about setting out flares, but decided against it. I hadn't seen a single car besides this one. The night was warm and still, no breeze, no sounds except the faint, steady click of the hazards. I got closer and recognized it as a newer red Ford Fusion, the passenger door still wide open. I approached with a bit more caution now. I circled around the car and froze. It was completely empty. I checked the back seat, looked under the dashboard. Nothing. It was totally deserted. That's when I felt a shift. This sense that something wasn't right. I had expected a passed out driver, or someone in need of help. Not this, not emptiness. I kept glancing over my shoulder. I had this growing feeling someone was watching me. I couldn't see far beyond what my truck's headlights illuminated, and that darkness felt heavier than usual, more alive. I thought hard about getting back in the truck and leaving. Someone had to be out there, hiding. Still, something told me to keep looking. I checked the ignition. The key was still in it, but the engine was off. I stepped back out and tried the trunk, locked. I grabbed the key and tried unlocking it, but it still wouldn't open. Felt like it was jammed from the inside. I opened the back door and reached in through the rear seat. That worked. Inside were 3 large garbage bags crammed tightly, and a thick rope tied across to keep the trunk shut. There was something deeply wrong about the way it looked. Off. I cast one more glance around, still no one. I reached forward, maybe 5 inches from touching the nearest bag, when the loudest gunshot I've ever heard split the air. I slammed my head on the car's roof, in pure shock, and dropped the key. Without thinking, I scrambled out of the car, threw the keys onto the front seat, and ran straight for my truck. That's when I heard it. A raspy, angry voice, shouting, "Hey," over and over. It was getting closer. I climbed into my cab, trying to start the truck, cursing under my breath. It stalled once, twice, and then I saw him, standing behind the car, in the headlights, short, stocky, pale red hair, overalls and tall boots. In one hand a small shovel, in the other a hunting rifle, old but deadly. He didn't look insane, just worried. We locked eyes as I got the engine finally roaring to life. He didn't move, didn't raise the gun, just stared. Then suddenly, he dropped the shovel and started waving both hands, yelling, "Wait, wait," like he wanted to explain something. No chance. I threw the semi into gear and sped past him. I looked in my rearview mirror, and saw him chasing me for a few steps before turning back to his car. I was breathing hard. My heart was pounding through my ribs. I'd never felt fear like that before. A few minutes passed, and I started calming down until I saw headlights in the mirror, fast ones, coming up behind me, way too quickly. Panic flooded me all over again. I grabbed my phone and called the police, explaining everything I could. The car was nearly on my bumper, honking like mad. I just kept driving, hoping he wouldn't try ramming me off the road. After about 15 minutes of this game, he swerved in front of me and slammed his brakes. I barely missed crashing into him. Then, thank God, red and blue lights flashed up ahead. A patrol cruiser appeared in the distance. Just like that, the Ford swerved off-road and vanished into the desert. I pulled over, shaking. The cop came up, and I told him everything, fast and frantic. But the guy just took a report. He didn't chase the Ford, didn't radio backup. I practically begged him to go after the guy. He just told me they'd conduct a full search after backup arrived, and to go on my way. I was furious. Told him twice the guy was probably catchable, but the officer just waved it off and let me go. They never called me back, never gave an update. To this day, none of my buddies has a story this insane. I've told it at more truck stops than I can count, and every time I do, people ask the same thing. What was in those bags? Most people assume the worst, like he was burying but I keep thinking about how small that shovel was, and how small the bags were. Some of my friends joke maybe he dismembered someone, but I've tried to believe it was something else. Maybe a diseased animal, maybe snakes. I don't know. I never will. What I do know is, I don't drive desert routes at night anymore, and if I ever see another car parked with its hazards on and the door wide open, I'm not stopping. Thanks for listening, folks. If you've ever had a chilling experience on the road, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss more real horror from the highway. Stay safe out there and keep your eyes on the road and the desert beyond. If you're into those trucker TikToks or YouTube shorts where drivers show off their rigs, offer life advice, or document the day-to-day, then you've probably seen a few young guys like me on there. Or maybe you haven't. Either way, I'm one of the newer faces in this industry. I'm 25 now, and while I may not look like your stereotypical long-haul driver, I've been at it for over 2 years. It's funny, I dropped out of a well-respected university for personal reasons I won't get into here. People used to say I could have been more than a trucker, but honestly, it's not a bad gig. Pays well, you're your own boss most of the time, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for the isolation. 12 hours into your own thoughts on a dark road, with nothing but static on the radio, can tear open parts of your mind you didn't know were broken. If you've got demons, you better make peace with them, because they will find you. They found me. This happened 3 months after I got hired at my first company. I was as green as they come, doing a solo run from southern New Jersey to Lafayette, Indiana. Technically a 12-hour drive, but I had already done an 8-hour leg before it. I just wanted to knock it all out and sleep when I got there. I figured if I drove straight through the night, I'd hit Lafayette around 3 a.m. The roads were quiet, eerily quiet, which meant I could cruise a little faster than usual. About halfway into the trip, somewhere deep in Ohio, I reached for a Red Bull in the center console. Nothing. I forgot to restock after my last drop-off. Rookie mistake. I groaned and slapped the dash. I hate stopping mid-drive. Once I stop, I crash. Mentally. I mean, still falling asleep behind the wheel wasn't exactly ideal, so I took the next exit, hoping for a 24/7 gas station or quick stop. Instead, I pulled up to what looked like the ghost of a gas station. The pumps were rusted, and the lights didn't work. The convenience store looked barely repurposed, like someone had bought the property and gave up halfway through a renovation. Still, the door was unlocked. Not just unlocked, wide open, like it had been waiting for someone. I stepped inside. The air was heavy and smelled like mildew. No lights, no hum of coolers, no flicker of a screen, just darkness. I was about to turn back when I saw a faint glow coming from a door in the back. Against better judgment, I walked toward it and pushed it open. There was a single refrigerator plugged into an outlet on the far wall. Strange. I opened it empty. Not just empty of product. Gutted. No shelves. No lining. Just a hollowed out shell. That's when I heard it. A distinct clatter from the main store. Like something fell. I froze. Waited. Nothing. I peeked around the corner. No one. I told myself it was probably a rat or something knocked over by wind. But I didn't linger. I jogged to the other quick stop just a minute up the road. Thankfully open. I grabbed my energy drink and got the hell out of there. But when I glanced back at the old store, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The door, the one I definitely shut behind me, was wide open again. I didn't investigate. I didn't report it. I just started the engine and hit the highway. About 30 minutes later, something started messing with my curtain behind the driver's seat. At first I thought it was the air conditioning, except it wasn't on. The curtain billowed, moved, and I swear I saw the silhouette of a hand retract. When I looked in the mirror, my heart sank. I didn't carry any weapons. Nothing. I kept one hand on the wheel while I typed the nearest police station into my GPS. Those were the longest 20 minutes of my life. I kept waiting for a hand to reach around the seat, or worse, someone to lunge at me and send a semi-careening into a ditch. When I finally pulled up to the station, I didn't even bother with the parking lot. I stopped right at the curb, jumped out and sprinted inside yelling for help. A group of officers swarmed my truck, and when they opened the back, what they found still haunts me. 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman. Pale, ragged, filthy, like they'd been living in caves. One of the men had 2 switchblades on him. The other carried what looked like a sharpened screw. None of them said a word. They just stared at me dead-eyed as they were cuffed and pulled away. The cops said they might have hopped in while I was in that first store. Or worse, they were already in there when I started the night. I don't know what they wanted. I don't think I want to know. But I do know this. I lock every damn door now, and I never stop at abandoned stations. If you're new to the channel, buckle up, because this story isn't just creepy, it's a warning to every long-haul trucker out there. What you're about to hear happened to me on an overnight route through Montana. It's something I'll never forget. My name's Kevin, and I've been a trucker for over 15 years. This job can grind you down, especially if you let exhaustion get the better of you. And on this night, I almost paid the ultimate price for pushing through one trip too many. Let me take you back 4 years, when I was working for a North Dakota-based warehouse. For those who don't know, North Dakota is one of the flattest states. Great for trucking, terrible for staying alert. The pressure to deliver quickly was constant, and like most of us out here, I wasn't paid by the hour. Time is money, and breaks cost both. It was a cold Tuesday morning in May, and I had a full route into Montana that I wanted to crush in a single shot. No stops, no sleep. I grabbed a quick lunch, plotted my drive, and hit the road by early afternoon, planning to arrive before dawn. For the first few hours, everything was smooth, but by midnight, I was on autopilot. My eyes felt like sandpaper, and I was blinking just to stay sane. Now my buddy Tristan, another seasoned trucker, once introduced me to smelling salts. If you don't know, it's basically an ammonia crystal that shocks your system awake. Just one whiff, and you're jacked with adrenaline. Dangerous if overused, sure, but on nights like that, they're a lifeline. I cracked one open, sniffed hard, and jolted upright. My body surged with energy, but only for a while. 30 minutes later, I was slipping again. The rumble strip buzzed as I drifted toward the shoulder enough to jolt me back. That's when I knew I had to stop. Problem was, there was no rest stop or pull off, just dense forest on both sides. I eased up on the gas, squinting through the dark, hoping for a safe spot. That's when I saw it. Something strange, lying right in the middle of the road. A purple dress, just there, spread out like someone had taken it off and left it. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, cursed under my breath. But it didn't go away. I rolled past it, half expecting to see someone run out screaming after it. Nothing. About 200 yards later, a pair of shoes. I sat up straight. My gut was churning now. This wasn't just weird, it felt wrong. Then I saw more. Scattered articles of clothing. Some were clearly children's little jackets. A pair of cartoon socks. I hit the brakes. Truck idling. I stared into the trees. I didn't see anything, but the silence was thick. Every instinct told me to keep moving. But I thought, what if someone's in trouble? What if there are kids out here? Against my better judgment, I stepped out. The cold air hit me like a slap. I crept toward the clothes. Definitely kids. Boy and girl stuff. I scanned the woods, heart pounding, and that's when I heard it. Crunch. From my left. I spun around. Nothing there. Then, another crunch. From the right. I froze. My fingers tingled. Like my body knew something my brain hadn't caught up with yet. I bolted for the truck. Adrenaline pushing past the fatigue. Just as I climbed into the cab, a child screamed. Not cried. Screamed. High-pitched. Terrified. I stopped cold. It sounded like a little girl. I couldn't ignore that. But I couldn't just go charging into the dark woods either. Another scream followed. Practically identical. I turned the engine back on, angled my headlights into the trees, and that's when I saw them. 3 or 4 people, ducking behind trees. One of them was holding something, a speaker. It clicked in my head instantly. The screams were fake. They were trying to lure me. They scrambled to hide from my lights, but I saw just enough. No distinct faces, but I swear on my dad, David's grave, that was a trap. A twisted setup meant to bait someone exactly like me. I fumbled for my phone, dialing 911. Before the call connected, something slammed into the side of the truck. I spun around in the cab. Another figure was standing on the opposite shoulder of the road. He shouted something I couldn't make out, then hurled something. Glass shattered. My passenger window cracked. That was it. I floored it. The final hour of that drive was a blur. I didn't turn on the radio. I didn't blink. I just drove until I made the delivery. Then I passed out for 10 straight hours. When I woke up, I called the cops, told them everything. They promised to investigate, but I never got any updates. Not one. To this day, I have no idea who those people were, or what they wanted. Maybe it was a robbery gone wrong. Maybe something worse. What I do know is this: they were organized. They knew what they were doing, and they were waiting for the right kind of person to fall for the bait. I came close, and that night changed how I do this job forever. I don't drive when I'm tired anymore. I always plan my pull-offs, and I never get out of the truck unless it's absolutely necessary. If you're a trucker, or even just someone driving long distances, stay alert and trust your instincts. You might only get one chance. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this story as creepy as I did, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think might have been going on in those woods. And if you enjoy real horror stories like this, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chilling tale. Until next time, stay safe out there.